It all started on a Tuesday. I remember that specifically because Tuesdays are my least favorite day of the week. It's just a second Monday, really. I was sitting at my desk, staring blankly at a spreadsheet, when my phone screen lit up. A missed call. The number was blocked, listed only as unknown. I didn't think twice about it. Who does? We get these calls all the time. It's either someone trying to sell you an extended car warranty, or a political survey you definitely don't have time for. So I swiped the notification away. It was just digital noise, a tiny blip in an otherwise mind-numbingly normal day. I went back to my work, the thought of the call already evaporating from my mind like steam from a coffee mug. Later that evening I was on the couch scrolling through my phone while half watching some terrible reality show. My thumb hovered over the call log. There it was again. Unknown. 3 missed calls, all from the same blocked number, one at 12:15 in the afternoon, one at 3:47, and the last one at 5:02, right as I was packing up to leave the office. A little persistent for a spammer, I thought. But still, not entirely out of the ordinary. Sometimes their auto-dialers get stuck in a loop. I shrugged it off, cleared my call history, and opened up a food delivery app. The allure of a greasy burger was far more compelling than the mystery of some persistent telemarketer. The next day, Wednesday, was more of the same. The calls came like clockwork, 1 in the morning, 2 in the afternoon. I started to recognize the pattern before I even looked at my phone. That little buzz on my desk would send a flicker of annoyance through me. It was like having a fly in the room. You can ignore it for a while, but eventually its persistence starts to grate on your nerves. I made a conscious effort to keep my phone on silent. I figured if I couldn't hear it, I could pretend it wasn't happening. Out of sight, out of mind, or so I hoped. The silent screen lighting up was just as distracting, a quiet little beacon of irritation in my peripheral vision. That night something felt different. I was getting ready for bed, brushing my teeth, and my phone was on the charger across the room. The screen flashed, a missed call. The time was 11:58 at night. This felt off. Spammers usually stick to business hours, right? They're running a business, albeit a shady one. They have employees who need to go home to sleep. Calling someone just before midnight felt personal, it felt intentional. I stood there, toothbrush in hand, staring at the glowing screen from across the dark room. For the first time, a small, cold knot of unease began to form in the pit of my stomach. This was weird. This was definitely weird. By Friday, the calls had become a fixed part of my daily routine. It was almost comical. I'd wake up, check my phone, see a missed call. Dead of night. I'd get to work another at lunchtime, then another in the late afternoon. Always the same. Unknown caller ID, no voicemail, just the silent missed call notification. Someone or something tried to reach me and failed. I tried to laugh it off with coworkers. Guess my car's warranty, I joked. They laughed, told their spam call stories. It felt like shared annoyance. Their reassurance was temporary. The weekend offered no respite. In fact, it got worse. The calls started coming more frequently. Saturday, 8 missed calls, Sunday 12, no longer spaced by hours but by minutes. My phone would buzz, I'd swipe the notification away. It buzzed again before I set it down. It felt frantic, desperate. My thumb hovered over, block this caller. How do you block a number that doesn't exist? After 2 weeks. Of the 3 o'clock calls, something changed. One night, after the ringing finally stopped, my phone buzzed again. A different kind of notification. A small cassette tape icon appeared on the screen. Voicemail. My blood ran cold. For all the dozens, maybe hundreds of calls I had received, there had never been a message. Not once. Part of me had clung to that fact as a piece of evidence that this was all just a complex, persistent glitch. A glitch doesn't leave a voicemail. A glitch doesn't have a voice. My thumb hovered over the notification, trembling. Every instinct in my body screamed at me to delete it, to throw the phone against the wall and pretend this never happened. But I couldn't. The curiosity was a sickness, a morbid need to know that overpowered my fear. With a deep shuddering breath, I tapped the notification. I lifted the phone to my ear, my hand slick with sweat. For a few seconds there was nothing but dead air. I was about to hang up when I heard it. The days after the first voicemail were just a blur of paranoia. Sleep deprivation was really taking its toll, making the world feel hazy and, unreal. But it was more than just fatigue. I started seeing things, or at least I thought I was. It would start as a flicker of movement in my peripheral vision, a sudden dark shape darting just out of sight. I'd whip my head around, but there would be nothing there. It happened at work, in the sterile, fluorescent-lit office. It happened at the grocery store, in the brightly lit aisles. It happened at home, in the supposed safety of my own apartment. It was always the same. A tall, thin silhouette, gone before I could get a good look at it. At first I blamed it on my tired eyes. Lack of sleep can play tricks on your mind. My brain was just misfiring, creating phantoms out of shadows and light. That's what I told myself. The occurrences became more frequent, more bold. One evening I was washing dishes and I saw a clear reflection in the dark kitchen window. Behind my own tired face, a tall, slender figure stood in the doorway. It had no features, just a vaguely human shape made of pure, solid black. I spun around so fast I dropped a plate, shattering it on the floor. I had to tell someone. I couldn't keep this bottled up anymore. The pressure was becoming unbearable. I chose my best friend, Mark. We'd known each other since college. He was the most level-headed person I knew. I figured if anyone could help me make sense of this, it was him. We met for coffee at our usual spot. I probably looked like a mess. I hadn't slept properly in weeks, my hands were shaking and I couldn't stop looking over my shoulder. I tried to explain everything, starting from the first missed call, and working my way up to the shadow in my apartment. Mark listened patiently, a concerned frown on his face. His expression shifted from concern to pity. When I mentioned the voicemails, the whispers, the breathing, he subtly pulled back.
Dude, he said, his voice gentle, the way you'd talk to a scared child. Are you sure you're getting enough sleep?
My world shrank to the size of my apartment, and then to the size of my bedroom. I stopped going to work calling in sick with a vague illness that my boss was clearly growing tired of hearing. I stopped answering texts from friends, I stopped answering texts from family. Their messages of concern felt hollow, intrusions from a world I was no longer a part of. Suddenly, a text message notification lit up my phone screen. It wasn't from a friend, it was from the unknown number. My heart stopped. With a sense of profound dread, I opened the message. It wasn't words, it was a picture. It had been taken less than a minute ago. It was here, it was right outside. The phone buzzed again. Let me in. The phone in my hand felt impossibly heavy, a direct line to the monster that was hunting me. I spent the next hour in a state of catatonic fear. I didn't move from my spot on the floor, my back pressed against the wall, my eyes locked on the front door. I was waiting. Then the phone rang. It was just after 10 o'clock, but I knew this was it. The screen lit up with the familiar, dreaded word, unknown. This felt different, it felt final. This was the last call. My thumb hovered over the red decline button. My whole body was screaming no, but a strange, fatalistic calm washed over me. The only way out was through. I had to face it. My thumb slid across the screen, from the red icon to the green one. I slowly raised the phone to my ear. I held my breath. Then, a voice spoke. It was a perfectly clear, calm, and eerily familiar voice. It was my own. It came from the front door. It was the sound of the deadbolt sliding open. A silhouette of pure black, darker than the darkness around it. The phone was still pressed to my ear and my own voice spoke one last chilling word. Hello?